Hello everyone, welcome back to Deep Chats. Today I'm going to be talking about careers, how I changed career, and just kind of my story of how to deal with when you feel stuck in your life, in your job. Yeah, I'm just kind of telling my story about it because I've no doubt that there are other people going through the exact same thing right now, in a job that you're miserable in and you hate and you don't know how to get out of it and get into something else, because at the end of the day it is so hard to get into another field when you don't have experience. So yeah, I'm just going to be telling you how I did it and my story and experience. So I was working in hospitality ever since I was 17, 18 and I had my first job. I always worked in hospitality. I worked in restaurants, hotel, cafes, coffee shops, and I hated it. I really did not like it, but at the same time I didn't feel qualified to do anything else, and I didn't even know what else I wanted to do. And it's something I struggled with my whole life, is like, what do I want to do as a career? It was the constant thing that was bothering me, I don't know, just what am I meant to do in life? I mean, this can be a whole other topic about how not to let what you do as a job define you and define your life or your worth or anything, but anyway, that's for another time. So yeah, I've always have been working in hospitality. At the start, I didn't actually mind it. I was just happy to have a job. But this time last year, we were in the first lockdown, and that's when I really started to reevaluate my life. I literally felt so unhappy because I was 24 and I just felt miserable. I just felt like, oh God, I want to have kids, I want to have a family, I want to be financially secure. I don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of it was financial for me. And so I kind of started really having this freak out about what am I going to do with my life? What career am I going to have? I don't know how to get into anything else. And I didn't know. I had no clue of what else I might want to do as a career, because I'm a creative person and everything that I enjoy is creative, or so I thought. Well, no, I mean, everything I do enjoy is creative, that's true. And everyone who is a musician or an artist or are into these things that aren't traditional jobs, the struggle between you want to be financially stable, but you also want to be you and be creative because that's what you enjoy. And it's tough when you can't combine both of them into the one thing. So for most of us in the world, we have a normal job, whatever it may be, office job or something like that, and then we do our creative things on the side. There's so many creative people out there that it's just not possible for everybody to be on that level of making a lot of money from that, and that's just the way it is. And I don't mind about that. At the end of the day, I've never pursued music or any of my creative outlets. I've never really properly pursued them and tried to make a living from them, because it sounds kind of sad, but I'm just kind of pessimistic about that. I'm kind of just oh well, there's no money to be made in music anyway, so I'd rather just keep it as a hobby rather than make it a job, if that makes sense. So for me, that's fine. But at the time I was really, really unhappy, but it only started properly getting to me after me and Deepan got married, because I suddenly was okay, well, we want a house and we want kids soon. Not soon, but
sorry, don't know why I said soon.
We want a house and we want kids and all these things, and it all requires money. This is just life, you know what I mean?
So
I really just started to think about all of that. This just goes on to speak about this timeline that society has created of oh, by 30 I need to have a house and kids and whatever, and it's all a load of rubbish. And it's difficult to not think about, because I was always like that, and I still am in a way of oh shit, I need to have done all my traveling by the time I'm 27, or you know what I mean, just silly things like this, when in reality you can do anything at any age, and who cares?
So yeah.
So basically I was working in a coffee shop, really tiring, miserable job. It got to a point where I was okay, I need to get into something else. I need to make a plan. I need to make a change. Yes, it requires going out of your comfort zone and it's scary. I would have rather have this temporary uneasiness because of change. I would rather have that than stay miserable, I sat down one day during the lockdown. Yeah, I just wrote down all of my interests on a page. And then I put them into subcategories of jobs within that interest. So music, houses and homes, and kind of interiors and stuff. I always have loved as well. Cultures, learning about people's cultures, different countries, traveling, languages, world music as well, like all that stuff really interests me as well. So I wrote down all these kind of topics and jobs within those topics. Then I looked at them and I said, okay, out of these, what are the jobs that I could enjoy and are profitable? What are the jobs out of these that I can actually make a living out of and be safe and comfortable? I want to be able to afford the things in life that we want, to travel, a house, to have kids. Just the reality, you need money for those things. The thing that stood out to me the most as being something that would actually be a good career was property, real estate, property, always something I've been interested in, but like I also never considered myself to be a businessy person, so I always just like ruled it out, being like, oh well, I'm not a businessy person, I'm not like that, so probably not, but anytime like we would drive by houses and things, I'd often say like, oh, I'd love to like sell houses, like it'd be kind of a cool job, and helping people find their like dream home, like it's just something that always appealed to me. Yeah, I wrote down everything I was interested in, and this is what stood out to me. I thought, okay, I could be a real estate agent. There's lots of opportunities for progressing. There's lots of decent money to be made. It's a good career, and it's something that I'm still interested in, that I would enjoy going around and showing people houses. It's interesting to me, and something I thought that, yeah, I could enjoy that. Yeah, I decided on it. I chose this out of all the other options because like they're all things I liked, right? Music, cultures, languages, travel, all this stuff, like I enjoy it all. But when I actually looked at the jobs within each of those brackets, I had to weigh up. It's not just about what I would enjoy. Like I said, for me, a lot of it was financial too. So I had to weigh up like what's actually something that I can progress in my life in. It's just unfortunate that like with stuff like music and even with interior design, like that's something that I was also studying online for a period of time as well, and I kind of realized quickly it wasn't for me, mainly because of like the kind of software side of designing I didn't like. But even just jobs in interior design, they're in Ireland especially, they're like almost non-existent. Like there's so few of them, and because so many people are doing it, there's a huge competition. To even get those jobs, you need like 5+ years of experience for these types of creative jobs. Like it's just the way it is. So it's hard to just be like, oh well, I'm interested in this, so this is going to be my job. And it's not as simple as that, as we all know. So this is what I chose, and so far it was a good choice. So basically, I was in lockdown. I decided I wanted to do real estate. So the first thing I did was I applied to college, because to be a real estate agent, you need to be licensed. As you do in most countries, you need a license nowadays. Usually it means getting some sort of education or degree. Next thing I did was started to look for work experience. At this point in time, I had no experience in property. I had no experience of even being an administrator or anything like to do with property. I was working, yes, customer service, sure. I was really starting from a completely blank slate. So like basically the first thing I did was created a really good CV and cover letter. That's the first step. If you want to change careers, do a really good CV and cover letter. The CV is obviously just going to be your experience, blah, 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 whatever. Even if it's not relevant, that's your experience. It has to be that way. You're not going to lie and say that you have experience in something. But the cover letter, I think, is the most important part, especially when you're changing careers, because you need to prove to a potential employer that I'm really passionate about this, I really want to do this, I'm really interested in this, I would love the opportunity. You really need to kind of sell yourself, really convince them that like, please give me a chance to like get into this industry. And that's pretty much what I did. I did a quite unique CV and cover letter. Don't just create something in Microsoft Word that looks really plain and not eye-catching. You need to do one that's a bit more like going to get noticed, and that's what I did. And I basically just sent it around to, I don't know, maybe like 50 estate agents in Dublin. I just sent it to them. This was in the middle of lockdown, so I knew that I probably wasn't going to get anywhere with it because they were all closed. I was actually just asking for work experience for letter. I wasn't even necessarily asking for a job because I didn't think that would happen because I had no experience in property. Surprise, surprise, most of them came back to say, we're not hiring, we're not taking on anyone.
Like, no.
There was a lot of just that, to be honest. I started this kind of leads into another video I'm going to be doing shortly about manifestation and journaling, but I started really heavily manifesting and just telling myself like, I am going to be a real estate agent, I am going to be working in the property industry, like I am going to be earning this amount of money. Kept telling myself that, kept visualizing it and believing it. Then my job at the coffee shop started back up. Actually, in the meantime, I also didn't get into college. All the places were full. I think I had applied quite late, so I didn't get into college this year. I'm starting like this September in 2021. So then one day I was in the middle of work and I got an email from an estate agent saying, would I like to come in for an interview? They have a role coming up for an agent. And I was like, oh my god, like I just couldn't believe it. I was shocked because like I had absolutely no experience, nothing, and here I was being asked to come in for like an interview for an estate agent role.
I was shocked, like honestly.
I was. So I went to that and it was really good, except they would have given me the job on the spot, but they couldn't because I didn't drive. And this is the other thing about being an estate agent, like you need to drive. Like, it's just a requirement. You can't do the job unless you drive. So he basically couldn't give me the job because I didn't drive, which completely fair. I already kind of knew that I would need to drive anyway, so I had already done my theory test and was beginning the process of driving, but I was really disappointed that I couldn't get it because like it felt like I was like this close to actually getting into the job I wanted, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden from like this to that, it was just really eye-opening and it was an amazing turning point for me. It gave me such confidence that like, you know what, I am capable of doing this type of job, like even though yes, I don't have experience in it yet, I'm well capable of it. A huge confidence boost in that sense. But he did seem to really want to hire me and have me on, and basically kind of said like if another reception role or an office-based role came up that, you know, he would be in touch, blah blah blah. Anyway, another few more months went on. I didn't hear anything from any estate agents. I still kept sending around CVs and things, but again, it's in the middle of the pandemic. No one was really hiring. If anything, people were getting laid off. I still wasn't discouraged because at this point I was still planning on going to college. I hadn't found out yet at that point whether I'd got in or not. Then one day I got another email from that same employer, the same estate agency, saying that they had a sales coordinator role coming up. Someone was going on maternity leave and basically did I want to come in and have a chat about it. So yeah, I got the job as a sales coordinator. Like obviously what I would like to be doing is to be showing the properties myself, but I'm still in the process of learning to drive. Everything with COVID has completely slowed it down. I haven't been able to do driving lessons since Christmas, so it's just, yeah, there's huge backlog with everything, unfortunately. But yeah, I started this job in this estate agents and I really loved it, really enjoyed it. It was just like something completely new and different to me, and it felt so strange at first actually, because like I was saying, I've always saw myself as this creative, like, I don't know, creative kind of person, and suddenly I was working in this kind of like, I don't know if corporate's the right word, but you know, I was working in this kind of office-based job, which I never thought I would be doing. If you'd said this to me years ago, I would have been like, no, I wouldn't work in an office. Like, but I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. And I was working there up until a couple of months ago, but the woman who was on maternity leave came back from her maternity leave. I left there and I just continued to look for jobs. That brings me on to my current job. I'm working in another estate agent's. This one is just lettings only, so it's only rental properties, which is interesting because I didn't like have much experience in lettings in the other job because it was focused on sales. So they're completely different, like completely different paces. Lettings is like just constant quick turnaround. It's really fast paced. Sales is much more slow, but I'm learning a lot. My role in this job is property administrator, so yeah, I'm still in the administration side of property at the moment, and it's going to be that way until I get my license and learn to drive, unfortunately. But it's still good because I'm learning all about it, you know what I mean, and it's going to be even more experience, like to have both knowledge in both roles. Really good. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. I just wanted to tell my story about how I got into property and how I changed careers, because like I said, I know that there are probably so many people in the world right now, especially with the pandemic. I don't know, I think like it just made people really reevaluate like what they want in their lives, and maybe this can help someone kind of feel positive that they can also get into the career that they want. And yeah, don't stop trying, don't give up. I know not everyone believes in manifestation and this type of thing, but really I genuinely feel like that helped me so much. I was like manifesting daily that I am going to get into another career, I am going to be financially secure, I am going to be all this whatever, and it's happened. Yes, a huge part of it is just purely believing in myself that like I am capable of this and I can do this and I am going to do this. The very first step is just embrace change and go outside of your comfort zone. Obviously it is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable having to change careers and change jobs no matter what age you are. Even if you're 50 and you want to change careers, like who cares? Like there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I like that. I like that I have experience in lots of different things, and I probably will continue to. Like I don't even, who knows, will I even stay in property for all my life? I don't know, you know. It's just, I like kind of constantly reinventing myself and exploring different things and avenues. So yeah, I just hope that this helps someone. And yeah, just whoever is out there and feeling stuck and you're feeling hopeless and you're feeling lost, just keep trying, don't give up, and it will happen if you believe it. So yeah, thank you so much for listening and watching, guys. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.